Hi, how are you? It's been so long since I've seen you. Welcome. So come on in, camera frame. Oh, hello. How are you? Do you know how many years it's been?
It's been so long, but every time I see you, you look younger and younger.
Yeah.
Wonderful to see you again, too.
We have to get all the latest news of what's going on with you both.
Well, of course, I'm Randal Malone, the president of the Southern California Motion Picture Council. But that means nothing. I am here tonight, legendary Academy Award winning Miss Margaret O'Brien.
Miss Margaret, your films are some of the best movies of all time. These are the movies that you can watch over and over and over again. And you know that Halloween part that was cut out of Meet Me in St. And they put it back in because of you.
I was so glad that they did put that back in. And that's the movie that I won the Oscar for, was Meet Me in St. Louis. And it's on display here tonight at the Hollywood Museum here, the Max Factor Museum. I'm even wearing Max Factor makeup for tonight.
You know, that was the best makeup. It was created. Everybody created everything back then. The costumes, the makeup, it was all done. And what was it like working at MGM?
It was fabulous to be at MGM. I loved it, being under contract. Of course, the studio did everything for you. Of course, today we have to do a lot ourselves because we don't have LB Mayer anymore. But no, that Max Factor makeup was so fabulous. I have to send for it now through eBay and all of that because they don't have a store with it, but it covered everything.
Well, you were here in this building. This is the Max Factor building, getting your makeup done here, right?
It's the Max Factor building, and Miss Dunnigan has done such a beautiful job of restoring all of that beautiful makeup department downstairs. So it's a pleasure to go through it and brings back so many memories.
And I would be remiss if I did not ask you what it was like to work with Miss Judy Garland.
It was fabulous to work with Judy. She was so nice, and she was a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people think she was very serious and very sad all the time. No, she was a person who loved to go on carnival rides, and she was just great. And we're very good friends with her children, too. And she raised some lovely children. So she was a wonderful mother.
Keep in touch with Liza.
I do. Liza, Lorna, Joey. The only son, Joey, is one of the sweetest people you'd ever want to meet. So,
And one final question. What was your favorite movie of all time to work on?
I love doing Meet Me in St. Louis, and I love doing Little Women because it was one of my favorite books. Working with June and Janet and Elizabeth, we all got along beautifully. We kept in touch all through the years.
Well, you are an absolute Hollywood icon. You are true Hollywood royalty, and we are so thankful that you stopped by.
Oh, I love being here tonight. It's very exciting.
Have a wonderful 90th Oscar night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You look wonderful. By the way, I love your tuxedo. Miss O'Brien, did you see his tuxedo? Silver and black, just beautiful.
Thank you so much. I love watching you on TV all the time.
Oh, thank you. Well, TV keeps me busy, but I am so thrilled to be here tonight with the Margaret. I love Meet Me in St. Louis, and that is by far, I think, one of the greatest all-time films. Yeah. And the great thing about it was Judy Garland we were good friends with Joey, Judy Garland's only son, with Sid Lovejoy. And we were talking one night, and everybody loves The Wizard of Oz. There's nothing like it. But her favorite film was Meet Me in St. Louis. So we are told, Judy's favorite film.
That's really good to know.
And I asked why one time, and they said it was the happiest time of her life, really. She said it was just such happy memories.
That's what we want to hear. Like Margaret was saying, we want to hear that she was happy and life wasn't miserable.
Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, you would think that White Christmas or one of those would be the all-time, and they're all wonderful, would be the all-time great. The most requested song in the world at Christmas time is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. It was written by Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine, by the two of them, for Judy Garland to sing to Margaret O'Brien. But it was written for her to sing, and how beautiful she does it. And she sings it to Margaret, and because they're moving from St. Louis to New York, and it is just an amazing moment in motion picture history.
Absolutely is. And I have to ask you one final question. You knew Michael Jackson, right?
Yes, I did.
Tell us, didn't you auction something that he gave you? I remember seeing something.
He gave me a glove one time. That's how generous he was. This was, the glove was, popular, but it was before it became iconic, and of course after his death. But I said, I love that you wear one glove. And he said, oh, here. And he took it off and gave it to me. That story's become so famous.
You take the shirt off his back for somebody if they ask.
I'll tell you, he was the loveliest person.
I have to say one thing.
Yes.
At 3 a.m. one night, I was asleep, and the phone rang, and I said, who is this? They were kind of a little annoyed, like, who's calling me at 3 a.m? It was Michael Jackson, and he said he wanted to sing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas to me.
Gosh.
So I was thrilled. So I didn't mind being awakened that night.
That's such a lovely story. Thank you both so much for stopping by. It's so good to see you.
And I love that story too, Margaret. Only Michael Jackson could call Margaret O'Brien on Christmas Eve and wake her up
And get through.
at 3 a.m. to sing her Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. It meant so much to him.
That's the way he was.
That's the way he was. He was just like that. He was the sweetest person, so generous, but lovely. People don't realize. One thing I liked about him is we went to see him one time at his house, and he had a Margaret O'Brien doll.
Holmby Hills?
O'Brien Candy Kitchen. I had a little product out at the time, and you could make little candies.
We need to do a sit down with both of you. We could talk for hours.
We could.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Oscar
Thank you.
night.
You look wonderful. It's lovely to be here.